This video is part 2 of a series where I actually build out a gaming PC with a 13700 non-K i7, and I'm actually pairing that with an Arctic Liquid Freezer 2 420mm all-in-one liquid cooler. I never thought I'd see the day where you would have to put an all-in-one liquid cooler on a locked processor. If you'd like to check out the previous video, that's part 1 where I actually go through the parts list and specifications. That's going to be in the upper right hand corner of the screen. And let's get on with the build video. So me being a hardware enthusiast, it may not make a lot of sense to a lot of people as to why I'm going with a locked i7 13700 along with this B760 chipset, because after all, you cannot overclock with those sets of components. The locked i7 13700 and the B760 chipset, you cannot overclock the processor with this. Now the main reason I'm going with this set of hardware is because I just want something fast enough to push my RTX 3080 Ti. I don't want to mess around with it, and I just want it to be my personal gaming rig so that I can use this and I know it will work, and I can continue to use other hardware, and if I mess that up, it's fine. I could always go back to this system. I don't want to fine tune, I don't want to tweak anything. I just want to install the internal components, put it together, and just play my games. Now this is the socket of the motherboard, and it's actually covered by a plastic piece right here. You don't actually need to remove this just yet because it will be removed automatically. Let me show you. On the lower left hand corner of the socket, you can see a little white indicator which actually will line up with an arrow on the lower right hand corner of the processor. You can see a little arrow right here. And you also have two asymmetrical notches, one on top here of the socket and two on the bottom. And they line up perfectly. All you have to do is just set the processor in place, and that's it. Now you just put the socket cover back down, and then you simply close the lever, and that automatically removes the plastic piece. There you go, it just locks right in place. Now all I'm going to be doing is installing these modules into DIMM slots 2 and 4 on the motherboard. So we're going to open up 2 and 4. You want to make sure you line up the notch right here with the DIMM slot. Push down when you hear a click. Alright, so I just finished installing all the case standoffs. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we're going to be placing the motherboard, which is kind of neat. You have the I/O shield, which is built in, which is awesome for this case. And we're just going to set it down nice and gently. Oh my goodness, this is massive. Look at the size of this. Now what's really cool about this all-in-one liquid cooler is it actually comes with a VRM cooling fan right here. See if I can zoom in for you. See on the faceplate right here. Little tiny fan that spins and it cools the VRMs, and it comes with the one PWM connection. The chassis I'm going to be installing it in is the Thermaltake Core P3 Pro, and you can see right here on the right is where I'm going to be putting the all-in-one liquid cooler. So it'll be something like this. It's like a glove. That's awesome. And it's going to go in like this. Of course I have to put the thermal paste on first, but man, that looks awesome. Check this out. I got everything installed. Well, not everything, but the basics. And look at the size of this all-in-one liquid cooler. I've never really seen a 420mm all-in-one liquid cooler in person like this before. And it just fits perfectly in this chassis. And the next thing I'm going to do is route the power supply cables through here and the front I/O connectors for the case for the buttons. And we're almost ready to test fire. So a quick update here. I went to go install my graphics card, which is an MSI RTX 3080 Ti, and it looks like this part of the graphics card conflicts with the fan being too thick right here. So if you're going with this exact AIO configuration, you might run into a conflict with this exact configuration. So what I think I'm gonna have to do is put the AIO on the front as opposed to the back. So yeah, I really like this totally black system. Like, there's no RGB on this. In fact, I turned off the RGB lights on the RTX 3080 Ti because I just like this plain black look. And my past three systems, they've all been RGB puke, where you have basically every single color just cycling through all of them. And I just couldn't believe how less strenuous this is on your eyes when you have this running in the background when you're trying to play your games. I just like these old school, no RGB builds. And the Arctic Liquid Freezer really looks awesome like with that, because you can see a lot of hints of gray and white on the motherboard, and they kind of blend in well with the tubing for the all-in-one liquid cooler. So that was a very interesting build for me for two reasons. Because the first reason, I never once put an all-in-one liquid cooler onto a locked i7 before. I cannot believe how power hungry these chips are getting by Intel. And on top of that, I never used the open chassis for a case. So what we're going to be doing in the next video is we're going to be going over all the thermals and performance that this system has to offer. And if you'd like to see that video, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you like the video, let me know by liking, and I will see you in the next one.